Hello guys, this is Duckmeister here. I'm going to show you how to recreate the song Angel by Oneohtrix Point Never, or you may know it as A2 from the Chuck Pearson's Eccojams album. The point of this demonstration is just to show you some of the techniques and tricks that are used in the making of this track, in case you ever wanted to make something in a similar style. Making this video for the vaporwave subreddit, so shout out to all of you folks. So we're to start out here. We have the original sample. I just took it straight from YouTube. This is Fleetwood Mac, Only Over You.
They're watching you grow. Angel, please don't go. I miss you when you go. They say.
Alright, so we have it here as a stereo file. The first thing we're going to do, as you should do with any audio, is remove the DC offset, and then we're going to prep it. We're going to cut it so that we just have the perfect loop that we want for our sample. So I'm pretty sure it starts, let's see, right on this beat right here. So we'll zoom in. I'm pretty sure it's this beat. Yep. Okay, so we're going to make sure our snap to zero crossing is on, and we're going to zoom in, and let's see here. This seems to be where the beat starts. This seems to be the first wave, so we're going to cut. It looks like, okay, we're going to cut it right here. Oops. Remove the beginning, and then bring this back to the front. The reason why we want the very first beat to be the very beginning of the audio file, in order for it to sync up with our tempo track. And then we're going to find the last beat. Let's count that. Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's either this beat, or let's listen to it again. Okay, right here. So we're going to zoom in again. Let's see. Looks like this is the peak. So we'll see where it will let us cut. The important thing when looking for where to cut, especially if you want to have a very clean loop, is that you want to hit it just before the wave starts. You don't want it to hit it. You don't want to cut it at the peak, because the rhythmic center of a note starts when the wave is on the rise. So we want to make sure that we're not cutting it at the peak. So I'm looking, the waves seem to be pretty smooth up until this point when they start getting a bit more choppy. So I think I'm going to cut it here. Then we'll remove that end. So now what we're going to do is we're going to select this file, just to double check, make sure. That sounds pretty good. We'll select this file, go to Project, Beat Calculator, and we'll tell it this is 4 measures that we have. So we're going to say 16 beats. That's saying it's 81.66 beats per minute, so we're just going to say add tempo track start. And now we've set our tempo track to the length of this audio file. So if we turn to click on, we'll see if that works.
Angel, please don't go. I miss you when you go. They say.
And then we'll check the loop by setting our recording boundaries. We'll snap it and then turn the loop function on. That sounds pretty good. That sounds like it. I think we got it. So now that we have the tempo set, we are going to slow it down. Or actually, excuse me, we're going to convert it to mono, because one of the signature characteristics of these Eccojams that Daniel Lopatin made is that they have this constant ping pong delay that's pan hard left and hard right, and we don't want there to be any kind of stereo interference or anything like that if you have a stereo sample to begin with. So we're going to change this to mono by going to stereo flip and going to merge mode. And there we go. That'll change it to mono. And just to check, I always check after I do anything, just to check if there's any DC offset that can be introduced at any point in the process whenever you're manipulating audio. Now we're going to slow it down. So we're going to go back to process. We're going to go to resample. There's many different ways to slow it down, but I like resample just because you can really dial it in to the 1,000th decimal point. So I looked before, and I'm pretty sure the magic number is 15%. We'll hear that, how that sounds.
Angel, please don't go. I miss you when you go.
We can compare that to the finished track.
I miss you when you go.
Pretty sure that's it. So we'll go ahead and process that. Now we will do the beat calculator again. Tell it 16 beats. It says our new beats per minute is 71 at tempo track start. And we'll hear how that loops again, just to double check and be sure. Great. Now what we're going to do is add the echo. And we'll go to inserts. We'll add the plugin delay ping pong. As you can see, we have it synced to our tempo. We're going to put it to 8th notes. The entire song is built around 8th notes. We'll leave the feedback at 50. You can turn the high filter off, but you definitely want to keep a low filter on. I like to keep it at 80. That's kind of like a industry standard low cut, like you see it on all kinds of equipment and stuff. But you need the low cut filter because you want the echoes to be distinct and you want them to trail off as they go on. You don't want them to really interfere and become annoying. Spatial, this determines how much of the echoes will remain in the center versus on the left and right channels. And 50 sounds good, and we can listen to that here just to see how it sounds. I like to put it just a little bit higher to 60 just to bring them out. I think on the Oneohtrix Point Never release, I think it's actually 100, like there's no echoes in the center channel. But if you listen to the Eccojams release, I think he did change it and bring it back a little bit. But you still want to keep them distinct. You want them to be in the left and right. But if you put it to 100, it can sound kind of disconnected. Mix just tells you the volume, starting volume level of the center versus the echoes. Where we want to keep that balance. We'll let them trail off naturally. So if we listen to that.
Angel, please don't go.
That sounds like it. It sounded pretty familiar. What we're going to do now is we're going to bake these delays into the file by doing another mix down. And first we're going to copy this and paste it over so that we have 2 loops. And we're going to set our recording boundaries to both loops. And the reason for this is that for the majority of the song, we're going to be looping just the second part because the echoes from the end of the first one will need to come in to the second one. And if we looped it from here, the echoes would just get cut off every time the loop came back, so we need to loop it twice. So we're going to save. It's always important to save often. And then we're going to go to export, audio mixdown. We're going to call this delay. And I'm recording and editing at 96 kilohertz, 24-bit. That's the max my sound card will go. And we want to import it into our project as an audio track. So we will make sure these options are checked and export. Okay, now we can mute this and keep it out of the way. We have our finished loop with no effects added, instead they're kind of baked in.